Denver, Colorado at the Bluebird, the tour stop of the Deicide tour, and we're here with Paula Blaze, the vocalist of Blackguard. How's it going?
Very good. We're having a blast on this tour and really happy to be back in Denver. We always have really fun times here, so this is perfect. Except for the long-ass drive it took to get here.
You guys came from Oklahoma?
Yeah, we were in Tulsa yesterday, and it was like a 10, I don't know, I think it was like a 10-hour drive, so it wasn't that pleasant for me anyways.
Now, Blackguard, or back then it was called
Profugis Mortis.
Profugis Mortis, was formed in 2004, but you didn't join until later. What?
Actually, I believe the band was formed in 2001. I joined in 2004. I joined it.
What made you decide to join the band?
You know what? I saw them play. I saw them opening for another local Quebec metal band called Blinded by Faith and Unexpect, and so I saw them play, and I loved the music. I thought it was great, and it was really a style of the style that I was really into at the time, and I really wanted to be in a band exactly like that. So. They just so happened to be their rehearsal room was right next to the rehearsal room where I was jamming with my other band that I had at the time. So I just went over and said hi to them one day and just wanted to tell them that I saw them play and I liked their music. And then they asked me if I knew a singer because their singer had just left. So the show that I had seen them play, that was their singer's last gig with them. So when they asked if I knew a singer, I was like, well, I sing. So during my break of one of my bands, I was auditioning for Profugis Mortis. So, and then eventually, they accepted me as a singer. They loved what I was doing, and, I've been with it ever since. So I'm very happy I've stuck around and, I've had that opportunity.
Now, with today's music genres, how would you describe the music of Blackguard?
I love describing our music as epic metal. Because for me, that's sort of an umbrella term that encompasses a little bit of everything that we do. We have a lot of power metal influence, and we have folk metal influence, obviously. I mean, we basically came out of pretty much the folk metal scene. But I wouldn't categorize our music folk metal, and nor would I ever dream of categorizing our music as power metal, but we do borrow all these influences as well as other ones. So, and it's also we have a lot of orchestral elements in the music as well. So, personally, I like calling it epic. I like calling it epic metal because it's not being too specific, but it's still specific enough that I think you can get the idea. When you say epic, you kind of have an idea in your head of what that means, and I believe that's what describes. I think that's probably the best term that describes us.
Who are the main songwriters, lyric-wise and music-wise, in the band?
Right now, Kim, our lead guitarist, is the main composer. He writes all the music, well, almost all the music. He writes the vast majority of the music, and he programs the orchestrations as well. So, and I write all the lyrics. So, but Etienne, our bass player, is a fantastic guitarist. Also, he's a phenomenal guitarist, and he contributed a few riffs on this last record. He actually contributed. There's an acoustic song on the CD, on the new CD coming out, and also the last record too, which was all him. He wrote those. So, but on the next CD, we've already actually started writing material for the next record, which is going to come out God knows when. But Etienne's going to have a stronger writing role when we really start. Etienne's going to have a stronger writing role at that time. So.
Now, you guys also had a release, So It Begins.
Yeah.
That I would assume was self-released or a local label?
Yeah, a local label. It was released by a label called Prodisc out of Montreal. And it only really came out in Canada, but although they did have really good distribution, like they distributed the CD all across Canada. So it was, Canada only, and also like people could buy it online. So yeah, that came out, and I mean we still sell it live, but the label's defunct now, but we still have the CD with us, so we sell it sometimes. We sell it from time to time.
So
we have stock of it.
you don't want to re-release the album under the Blackguard name and maybe incorporate it into a new album?
I don't know if I would. I like kind of the fact that it's sort of it's kind of a collector's item now in that sense. I mean, if we were to re-release it with under the title Blackguard, then I don't know. I just like the idea of sort of keeping having the record, like we can print it, we can print it ourselves. We have complete control over it, how we sell it and how, if we want to repackage it or something right now. So in terms of like actually giving it a real re-release, I don't know if we're going to do that. I have no plans on doing it. And you know what, like that era of the band, was, that's, we recorded that I think in like 2007, and we had a lot, there were a lot of different members back then. Well, not that many, but I mean, that's when we had our violin player and our keyboardist was there at the time too. So, it's a different era of the band. So I'd rather just sort of leave it at that and move forward with new material.
Now you guys landed a record deal with Nuclear Blast, but Nuclear Blast Europe only, right? Because of a MySpace contest.
Yeah. We submitted material online to them, and and they liked it. I mean, it's basically like just sending in a press kit, except we basically linked them to our MySpace, and which was that was pretty much the contest at the time. So.
But they only released it in Europe, and in North America, you were with your first record on Sumerian Records, right?
That's right. So it was a split. Well, Sumerian took care of everything in North America, and Nuclear Blast took care of it of the release in Europe. So, which was it was okay. I don't think it worked out as well as we had hoped. I think ultimately what we really needed and what we have now is a label that one label that has that's. So you are worldwide on Victory. We're worldwide on Victory. So that's I think that was was the best move for us. Because we felt there was a little bit of miscommunications going on between Sumerian and Nuclear Blast, and maybe certain things could have been coordinated a little bit better. But anyways, the past is the past. So.
Now. Your second album, Firefight, will be released March 29th through Victory Records. Tell us more about your new album. And I think one song just got released in February on iTunes, and it got really great responses.
Yeah.
So
we've been extremely happy with the way people have been responding to the new record. So the new CD, March 29th on Victory Records. The album's called Firefight. The first single that got released was the title track, so the song Firefight. We're going to be playing it tonight too. We actually shot a music video for it in Chicago too a couple days ago. So was that a follow-up question? Okay. So yeah,
He's stealing my questions.
I know where you're going with this. So this is our first record that we've done without Joe, our keyboard player, and Joe was a principal songwriter in all our past material. So
may I ask why he left?
He just kind of got tired of
because he was at Hypocrisy at the Hypocrisy gigs.
Was the last tour he did with us. He just wasn't much into touring anymore, and I mean there was no big fight. There's no drama about it. He just felt like it was his time to step aside from the band, and we had a really tough decision of whether or not we were going to continue, and we chose to carry on, and I think it was the right move, and I think we're about to put out a really good record. So we'll see where things go from there.
Now on the new record, are you also going to have key parts on it and just stream them in, or?
Yeah, well, what's going on? Well, we do have a lot of backing orchestration. In terms of straight up keyboard parts, not really, but there is, but there isn't. There's some keyboard parts that harmonize with some of Kim's soloing and some of his leads, just to sort of beef them up and thicken them up a little bit. But no, there's no straight up keyboard solos. That really wouldn't make much sense considering we don't have a keyboard player. But if you do hear keyboard on it, it's backing Kim.
So can we assume the new record is going to be harder than the older one?
There are much heavier songs on this one for sure. Tonight we're playing 3 new songs tonight. I think we wrote. There's 2 songs on the record. One of the songs called "The Fear of All Flesh," which we're playing tonight. That I think is probably one of the grooviest, most brutal song we've ever written. I mean it's not. Obviously it's not as heavy as like Deicide or Pathology, but this is probably the heaviest song we've ever done. So I'm very happy with the diversity that we have within the label, within the record. There's a lot of songs go through a lot of different dynamics and a lot of different moods. So I think it's going to keep the record interesting for people.
Now, you mentioned touring earlier, and this is one of the reasons why Jonathan left. Over the last, I don't know, couple years, oh my God, I missed the opener band Blackguard. Well, never mind, they're coming back in 2 months. You guys, I mean, touring maniacs, I guess, is an understatement.
Yeah.
And I mean, does that...
We're the workhorse.
Does that somehow put a split in the dynamic of the band because you guys are always together?
It tests your relationships with the other members of the band, like that's for sure. But at this point, we're all kind of used to it. We're all kind of used to it by now, where we feel like we've been through the worst of it. Like the first year and a half of, the first couple of tours were kind of fun because it was a new experience, meeting new people. But then, after the third and fourth and fifth tour, in fairly quick succession, the stresses of being on the road and not being at home and not having not being solid financially because being in the band doesn't pay. It's all those things that add up, and then you can end up sort of accidentally lashing out on at the people around you. If you're getting aggravated, it's the people around you that are gonna kind of end up feeling the suffering for it. So, but I think we've everybody is smart enough and mature enough now that we've sort of we've been through the worst of it, and we know how to deal with it. We know how to deal with the personalities in the band, when to stay away and when to, kind of give people their space. And personally, I love what I do, especially if I'm pissed off, is like, I'll just go away. I'll just go have my own time, and go to a bar, go eat alone, go drink alone, just to have me time.
Have a drink on me?
Yeah. I buy my own rounds. That round was on me. On me.
Now, again with touring, right after this tour, you are going to go to Europe for the first time. How excited are you about that?
I'm extremely excited about that. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
It's the first time, right?
It's the first time going to Europe, touring as a band in Europe. I went to Paris once when I was like 12, but that doesn't really count. But I think we are going back. I think there's a Paris date on the tour. So I'm excited to, see completely new places. Touring North America is cool, but everything is very familiar now. We've played every city, all the cities that we have, all these cities we've played multiple times, and now it's going to be something completely new. It's a new town.
And this is a headlining tour in Europe too, right?
I don't even want to call it a headliner. We're playing last, Because when you say headliner, it's like, headlining. Oh, it sounds a lot bigger than it is, which we're not. So, we're going. We're gonna go and we're gonna we're gonna have support from local bands, and I hope it's gonna be a great tour, and that we're gonna be able to finally play for like a lot of fans that have been wanting to see us play for a long time.
Now, one of my last questions. You guys also were part of the 70,000 miles or tons of metal cruise. Yeah. Okay, dirt on it. What? Tell me. Nice. Yes. Did I miss it?
You missed it. You missed it. Everybody who wasn't there missed the metal party of a lifetime. Absolutely. There's nothing that's, they're gonna bring it back next year for sure, but. It's not gonna match the magic of the first year, like the inaugural year. Like it was something else. It was just a 24/7 party for, for 5 days, partying nonstop. It was hot tubs, it was bands, babes, booze, like it was all that wrapped into one, and just being able to kind of be shoulder to shoulder with a lot of really influential musicians too, like
a lot of older bands too, like Saxon, for instance.
I got to say hi to Biff briefly, and that was awesome. I'm a big Saxon fan, so and that was the first time I ever got to see them. Being on tour and seeing as many shows as I have over the past years, there's not too many bands I haven't seen live, and Saxon was one of those bands. I was like, I need to see Saxon. I need to see them play. So being able to see them play live was amazing. Unleashed too, actually, like that was great to see them.
Not my boobs.
Yeah. And just being able to hang out with a lot of all the musicians who under normal circumstances you wouldn't be able to just kind of like go up and have a chat and have a beer with them because there was no backstage. Everybody was literally everywhere all the time. You know, if you want to say hi to a band, go to the closest bar and you will meet everybody. They're all there, all the time. So there was not, you know, nobody was being all rock star. Like everybody was, you know, chatting up with everybody and having beers. And it was great kind of like stepping back and sort of watching, you know, I mean, we had a lot of friends that were on the boat too, like other bands who we had toured with. And it's great just seeing your friends kind of like it's like everybody catching up. You know, you can tell that there's some bands that haven't seen each other for years that toured together like 10 years ago. That like, you know, it's the grand reunion. You know, so it was just a great scene, and it was so positive and so, you know, yeah, it was just great times. You know, there was no bad, you know, nothing bad came out of that weekend. So
nice. Okay, now famous last words.
Firefight, March 29th on Victory Records. I'm sorry, you guys have to pick it up. Please do it. It would mean a lot to me. It was my birthday yesterday, so this could be my birthday present.
Oh, yeah, I owe you a coffee.
You owe me a coffee.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Wait, to get a shot of these guys. Look at that. Woo! This is how we do it on tour.
Yeah.
We up the iron.